creating this narrative that I'm doing it for them rather than doing it for myself. But whereas when I don't tell anybody I'm getting on the treadmill and doing my cardio or whatever it is, whatever machine I'm on, I do it. Because I don't have this false narrative that I'm doing it for somebody else. When you don't share it, you're doing it for you.
Up on YouTube, it's the Earley Show. What? Tap in on YouTube, it's the Earley Show. Okay. Tap in on YouTube, it's the Earley Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're tuning in to the Earley Show. I'm your host, Cole Earley. Welcome. All right, it's been a couple weeks since I've uploaded, but we're back. Today's episode, we're talking about verbalizing/digitalizing your dreams, goals, and aspirations, and why I personally think you shouldn't. But before we get into that, kind of give you an update on my lifting and what's going on in that realm. So, might be doing a bodybuilding show. I might be. I saw a post on Instagram, May 25th, which is about 113 days out in Redmond, so about 3 hours away. And I've started to kind of do a deep dive in on what it takes, what people do, like the process of preparing for a bodybuilding show. And what I've learned is, so right now I'm 220 pounds. I was talking to a trainer at a nutrition store / gym right around the block, and he was like, yeah, you'll get down to about 190. And I'm like, what? It's 30 pounds. And so what I've learned from my research is I'm fat. So we got some work to do, but okay, this is a good transition. Okay, so I have, in my last video, I talked about my plan to lose weight, my plan to get my abs back. Didn't happen. My cardio was inconsistent, and my eating was good, but I'd have those days where I just ate. I remember one night, came home, got a tub of Halo Top, finished the Halo Top, but I also got a bag of milk chocolate chips. I sat there, ate the whole bag. It was like 60 grams of fat. It was 2,000 calories. So overall eating's fine, and that won't be hard to change if I'm preparing for the show, but the cardio needs to get consistent. On that note, I made a cardio buddy. We, every morning for the past 2 weeks, have been up at 6:30 on the treadmill, burning 150 calories. If you struggle with staying consistent on the treadmill, staying consistent on your cardio, I recommend getting a buddy. You don't need to know the guy. You don't need to know the person. But just be like, approach that man in the gym. Hey man, you want to meet here every day at 6:30 and do some cardio? It's game changing. The cardio goes by like that because you're talking, because we do incline walk for 15 to 20 minutes, burning 150 to 200 calories. And it's the accountability that having a buddy brings. One, you got to stay accountable for yourself because you want to lose weight. But two, if you're not there, he's there alone or she's there alone. So I honestly have been a game-changing piece in my in my cardio. And I think that if I'm doing this show, that 15 will turn into 30 minutes. And, but the moral of the story is if you struggle with doing cardio, find a cardio buddy. Game changing. All right. Secondly, last time I think I made a video, I was on a upper-lower type split. I since then have changed that. This is what I'm doing now. So day 1 is back plus a little shoulders and a little core. Day 2, chest and arms. 3, legs. 4, shoulders. 5, back and bi. 6, legs. 7, chest and tries. As you know, as you can see, in my split, there's no rest day. There's no day off. So my ideology behind that is, I mean, since I've started lifting and playing basketball, listen to your body. Your body will tell you what you need, whether it's to eat, whether it's to sleep. Like, if you listen to it and if you're in tune with it enough, it tells me. It tells me. So it's not, and I think there's two different, if I wake up and I'm like, oh, I don't want to go to the gym today. I don't want to get on the treadmill. That's one thing. But if your body is saying, hey man, like, I need to chill for a day. I need to recover. Listen to it. So that's kind of and so I'm not saying it happens every week. I'm not saying it happens every 2 weeks. I'm just saying when it happens, it happens. Right? My last point about my training is having a consistent warm-up when you're getting to the gym. My basketball career, in the start of it, every time I got in the gym, I had these shooting drills that I would do for the first 15, 20 minutes. And then I would get into my workout. And since I've started my weight training, I haven't had that. I haven't had that consistency in the beginning of my workout. So finally, about 2 weeks ago, I implemented this warm-up. I'll put it somewhere. First of all, it's backwards walking resisted treadmill walk. It's not on an electric one. It's on like a self-push one. And that gets my knees, gets my quads warmed up. Will Tennyson did it in one of his videos I'll tag that video. But a dude in the gym gave me a tip. He's like, oh, I have knee pain. So this is to combat that. He's like, oh, dude, my knee pain went away when I did 10 minutes of this every day. So far, knee pain's getting so much better. My second is a pistol squat. I need to work on my mobility, my ankle mobility. And why I have put the pistol squat in there, I want to work up to a dragon squat, which I'll attach a link in the bottom of what a dragon squat is. Third, hip openers. I was with a coach once. He's like, man, you got bad hips. I noticed when I deadlift, when I pull, and then I drop, it drops 3 inches, 2 inches to the left every time too. So there's a instability. That's the wrong word. My hips aren't even. The mobility in my hips aren't equal. So this is honestly one of the hardest exercises of my lifts. It's the hip openers. They're very hard, but they're like already I've noticed I was here, now I can go like 3 inches higher. Not 3 inches higher, but I'm noticing improvements already, even though this is the second week doing it. And fourth, hypothetically, let's say I'm doing leg day, I'll do 20 quad extensions, 20 hamstring curls, 20, what's it called? Leg press, and maybe 20 really light deadlifts, just to get those muscles warm. So, without this warm-up, and let's say I just get into the gym, I go right into my lift, I have that 15-minute buffer period where my muscles are still getting warm, where I'm still getting kind of mentally in the gym, where I'm still getting physically in the gym. First 15, 20 minutes, they're just not as effective as when I have the warm-up. The warm-up is my buffer period. The warm-up is where my body gets ready, where my mind gets ready for the lift ahead. I noticed after I do this, and when I get into my lift is so much better. I'm more focused, ready to go. I highly recommend have a routine. Have a routine when you get in the gym. I'm doing 1, 2, 3. It doesn't need to be complicated. First 10, 15 minutes, that's what I do. I'm warm. I'm locked in. All right, let's get to weight training. Yeah. All right. So that's the weight training. And let me tell you something about our unofficial sponsor of today's video, Ghost. If you would like to sponsor me, you know where I am. So we're talking about Ghost Energy. 10 calories, 200 milligrams of caffeine, beautiful can, amazing flavors. Ghost Energy, guys. It's natural caffeine, too. It's not just caffeine, it's natural caffeine. So check it out, Ghost Energy. Good, fairly priced. And they taste good, carbonation. Perfect. Shout out to Ghost. And a cool logo, to say the least. That's not Ghost, that's coffee. But all right, so now we're getting to the meat episode. And this is why I think you shouldn't verbalize / digitalize your dreams, goals, and aspirations. So back in the day, I was very active on social media and I would post everything. I would overpost, overshare, before we get into that, when I say goals, dreams, aspirations, these can be daily goals. These can be get on the treadmill more. I'll be using, my examples that I'll be using are quitting nicotine and cardio. But I also think the ideas that I'm saying correlate to bigger goals, bigger dreams. I want to make this much money. I want this many cars, whatever it may be. I think the ideas I'm sharing are applicable on all levels. So going back to, I remember high school, early college, I would verbalize my goals, dreams, and aspirations way too much. Whether it's posting them on social media, whether it's just telling my friends, hey, I want to do this, I want to do this. Telling my parents, oh, I want this, I'm going to do this. Way too much. So, why I think you shouldn't is you spread your energy too thin. Or when I have a dream and goal, that dream and goal is big. It's hard to accomplish. And when I'm constantly sharing and sharing and sharing, that energy I need to accomplish that goal is getting sent out to other people rather than sent into myself. You're wasting energy. They don't care as much as you do. They can be like, oh, they can get hyped with you in that moment, but the moment you leave and they leave, they take that energy and go. They're not giving that energy back to you for that dream, to help chase that dream. In the moment, they're like, yeah, get after it, Cole. You got this. But once you part ways, they keep that energy. They go, they take it. So, secondly, the goal or dream gets devalued. When you share your dreams or goals, aspirations, you make an individual thing a shared thing when it doesn't need to be. When it doesn't need to be. My third point is I think it's less likely to happen. At least for me, when I share my goals, dreams, yada, 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 it creates this false narrative that the people around me want to help me and support me and accomplish this goal. When in reality, those people I'm sharing with, they have their own dreams and goals. They can't spend time helping me. They got to help themselves. So I want to tie this less likely to happen into when I try to quit nicotine. When I try to quit nicotine, I can quit in two different ways. One way is shut up and quit and don't make it a shared thing. The second way I quit is like, I'm telling my friends, like, oh yeah, I'm quitting nicotine. I'm quitting nicotine. I'm 30 days off. I'm 30 hours off nicotine. I've been off nicotine for 2 weeks. They don't care. And when I don't tell anybody, that's when I quit. But when I do tell people, I create this expectation they'll care. I'll create this expectation that they'll hold me accountable. That there will be consequences. And there's not. Touching on spreading that energy too thin on the nicotine. When you're on nicotine and you're trying to quit, that is hard. It is not an easy task. It is a mental battle. And you need all the willpower and all the energy that you have and that you generate to quit it. And when you're constantly giving it to other people, you break, man. Or I break. So, okay, I'm going to dive a little more deeper on my two examples, nicotine and cardio. So, cutting weight and cardio. And again, there's two ways I do cardio. The one way in the past is I'll post on social media, ooh, I've been getting fat. Or I'll tell my friends, like, yeah, it's time to cut weight. It's time to cut weight. Then I'll post a video of me on the treadmill, morning cardio. I mean, you see people who do it. Morning cardio. And I always stop. When I overshare these are little goals, and I overshare these goals and verbalize them too much, I always end up being inconsistent. in doing it, in creating this narrative that I'm doing it for them rather than doing it for myself. But whereas when I don't tell anybody I'm getting on the treadmill and doing my cardio or whatever it is, whatever machine I'm on, I do it. Because I don't have this false narrative that I'm doing it for somebody else. When you don't share it, you're doing it for you. So I flip the question to you. What dream, goal, aspiration do you have that you share too much, that you talk about too much? Because at the end of the day, it's just talk. You can talk about your dream as much as you want. And I've fallen victim of this many a times. You can talk to your friends about your dreams and goals. They don't happen unless you make them happen. And yeah, I think sharing them, and kind of what I hope you get from this, I think when you share them, they just get devalued. They less likely to happen. They don't become sacred and special to you like they were when they were just yours. Yeah, let me know what you think. Comment. Maybe you're like, no. Maybe you disagree with my point, like my view on this completely. I'd love to hear it in the comments. Like, maybe you're like, oh, when I share my dream and goal, people do hold me accountable. People do want to help me. I get energy from sharing it. Maybe you do, but let me know. Whew. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the Earley Show for today. So, yeah, my last point on this topic. What is that thing that you keep telling people? Like that, what is that dream that you keep telling people? Then the second question, why do you keep telling people? My last point, I know sometimes I need to hear this, but maybe you need to hear this today. Talk is cheap. Work for it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for the Earley Show today. Thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, Cole Earley. Next week, we got an interesting topic that I've been but thinking about and seeing myself in the gym. It is, I'll be talking about mental failure versus physical failure and the importance of the distinction of the two. So tune in next week for it. Thanks for tuning in.
On YouTube, it's the Earley Show. What? Tap in on YouTube, it's the Earley Show. Okay. Tap in on YouTube, it's the Earley Show. Right now. Tap in on YouTube, it's the Earley Show.